Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's inspirational pressure speech, Gotham City, within the city gates of Alexandria, Louisiana, also known as a town. For any of the back footage history and just the reason why Gotham was named Gotham for the speech, why I referred to some of the things that I'm going to refer to, hit that YouTube channel. I have a video that will be posted for you in the morning, okay? Let's get into this. Now, as we know, a town is just like any other city or little town that surrounds us. It's full of violence, secrets, and corruption. You have the day life, you have the night life. Sometimes you might get it in broad day. This broad day. They not playing. Now, I did a separate video that you'll be able to find on the channel, and I'll share it on the page, all because I really wanted to get into 4 things that I feel like is need to talk about now. What is happening now, okay? The first one that we're going to talk about is drugs. The drugs and the level of drugs that were allowed to come within these city gates. Now, let me tell you something. Have there always been drugs in these city gates? Yes, it has. Dirty, dirty, dirty. If only some of you knew. Some of the finest, some of the best have done it. Right now, they're either vacationing or they are sitting in prison, okay? It is just one or the other. Now, true enough, crack and cocaine and marijuana, and you had pills. I know on Alex side that floated. I know in Pineville's side, for a certain extent, that's what floated. Now, of course, you had heroin and meth, but they wasn't in certain communities at that time like they are now. About 8 years ago, you might, about 9 at the most, was the start of the ripple effect of this change in the drugs. But for about 7 years strong, it has been the epitome of riding down these streets in Alexandria and seeing people, lives, Lord have mercy. What killed me is it's not even the older ones anymore. It's young, so young, out of high school young. No, you ain't hearing me. And this stretches as far as the Opelousas exit to go to Baton Rouge. I've seen one so young there, I deleted my footage. We still gave him $1, but we gave him a message with that $1. And for the 2 white boys and the white girl that was sitting under the tree, and this black boy that was sitting on the corner, I read it there. It's gone. Gone. You had, for 7 years strong. Now, let me tell you before I say this. Yes, maybe back in the 60s, maybe even the early 50s, you might have had a couple black people in upper cities and stuff. Maybe in New Orleans do heroin. You know, come on. Maybe a drug other than the cocaine or the crack. But for the most part, in my 35, thank the Lord, going on 36 years on this earth, from the time I was born growing up until now, cocaine, crack, pills, marijuana, was known by blacks to take. That fact, okay? That other was known for the whites. Fact, okay? That was just a little bit too strong for the black people. Come on, man. Y'all better hear me because certain people knew that too. About 7 years ago, I started really seeing how the heroin, the meth, and the mojo hit inside Alexandria and Pineville's black communities like it was not nothing. Before you knew it, and you had some that tried to hide it for so long, for so long, for so long. But as the years and the time and the situations and the consequences present, you wouldn't imagine how that dope really hit my generation. And oh, come on, not that. Oh. It was like a new candy for them. I don't know if I don't know if they was told it's the same effect as the powder. I don't know if it was told it was the same effect. I don't know. But whatever it did the wrong thing. When when Mojo hit, oh my gosh. Not even with the heroin and the meth, but the mojo itself. Man, look at the families and the people that it just tore apart. For one, in black communities, you had people get on that stuff and families just really, oh man, kids was not used to this. See, we was 80s babies. We grew up in that era, man. We grew up in that crack, grew up in that dope. Well, Remy Ma say they don't believe that, man. That is true. We had certain people there for us, though. You had family, friends that pulled together. Now, man, those poor children and poor babies that's stuck in that situation now have no one. It is ridiculous. A change of life for them they never even imagined. And some of them don't even know how to cope with it. Some of them don't even know how to deal with it. Some of them were put out there on the corners and put out there and everything else just to supply their habits, their parents' habits. This is real, and I got another one that's gonna hit that one too. So let me not run ahead of myself. I am so sick of seeing young people on this mojo, young people to my age that have let this heroin and this meth come through here. I thought I didn't talk to nobody in these city gates before. I really don't talk to nobody now. Because to me, they all look like they own it. Glossy eyed, they all acting crazy, talking stupid, all loud and just rambunctious and ridiculous looking. You got people acrobatically, like they in acrobats. Or acrobat, doing acrobatic stuff. Looking like they exercising for days on that mojo. Just stretched out anywhere, everywhere. And it doesn't affect anyone. No one wants to talk about this. How your youngest brother sleep for days? How are you getting all these drugs from these youngsters? And like I said on yesterday's commentary, they don't know anything about drugs. They say now you gotta pour Coke or the Sprite on the pills just to make sure they don't. Come on, Dang, I said this, you gonna be paralyzed somewhere. There has been so many overdose deaths from my generation to, and it seemed like with the youngsters, they just killing each other. They just murking the heck out of each other. And my generation and up, they just seeming to overdose or they gone period on the drugs. Yeah, you got some still out there surviving, standing strong. You have some that didn't. Man, they weren't tapping into that. You have some young men I went to school with, they still look like themselves. They still are themselves. And you got some I went with that was top dogs that are now, what the heck? You used to be. You got some of the drug dealers that used to be drug dealers back in the day, now mojo smokers and just gone. You got some of the most bossiest boys back in the day coming up on until now that have just flunked out. Flunked out. It's pitiful. And let's not go on the women. Oh my gosh. And look at all the ugly ducklings back in the day. They said it was ugly ducklings just because we had the big bottle cap glasses looking like Steve Urkel's sister, but that's all we had. That's all the government was. It was okay, babe. Look at us now. Some of us always prevail, but we just blossom into still prevailing. Where others, oh man, if the drugs didn't take them, life took them. And it's still taking them. And you look like, what? Was that the cheerleader from? That snootiness and then I'm gonna wait to that on the next topic, so I'm gonna hold that. No one ever wondered why and how all the blacks started getting on meth, mojo, and heroin. Nobody wanted to know that. Nobody wanted to talk about that. Nobody wanted to broadcast that. Nobody wanted to have a special about that. Nobody wanted to talk about all those overdoses that people lost their family members over. Nobody wanted to find out what was really going on. Or did they already know what was going on? I'm just saying. Don't nobody talk about it. This is not broadcast. You think this will be worldwide news. It was worldwide news when you picked up the big. They darn near crucified them. They had murders, racketeering, all that big dogs. Them some of the big dogs I'm talking about. That judicial system back then was a. I can't wait till I get on that. But what's going on? So don't anybody want to know where things might be? I'm scared to see the rest of the year. But let's just say 3 years from now, where are all your young kids gonna be? You're not scared, especially if you're still thinking about living, residing down. You're not. Come on. You have to be careful about the marijuana. You better know you are old school and you still got connections with. And you better act, smell, and know your weed before you be sitting stuck paralyzed for with mojo. Too many families, too many lives, too many jobs, too many people, too many women. Too much of everything needs to stop. with that dope in A-Town. That ain't. And the reason why I say that is because nobody really wants to know how all of a sudden that became even a breeze. And it don't look like it's just here. It's in other. Y'all ain't feeling and hearing me, man. So I'm going to move to my next one. And my next one is going to be the deaths that have been occurring within Alexandria, Louisiana. Just like all their little surrounding areas. The deaths between the young. What is going on? Nobody want to talk about that though. Nobody want to ask. Nobody's getting arrested. Nobody's holding arrest. Nope. What the heck? You taking people friends. You taking people loved ones. All because y'all got into an argument. All because you lost a fight. To understand is to know, so you better get to knowing. What is going on around us and in this city is too small for it. Let's just say that right now. It's too small for the bull crap. It's too small for this bull crap. This been going on for 7 years too, and it's just getting stronger and stronger. They've been killing the young men when they've been killed. Youngsters been killing youngsters, and it's so horrible and it's so sad because they have took some of the most beautifulest people away from people. Some of the most beautifulest friends away from friends. Some of the most beautifulest people from knowing people. Over nothing. Y'all not fighting over no blocks. You don't even know how Kelly Levin them was last. I'm talking about last back in the day. If you weren't standing on blocks for days, and if you can see the boys on the blocks for days, then you didn't know what you was doing. You wasn't no hustling. You wasn't about that life. If you weren't scared to shoot out when you see APD or PD, then I'm going to need for y'all to sit down and quit beefing over nothing. Because what are you possibly beefing over to where you can take somebody's life? And then if you do chance it and get out there with them hangs and you meet a little weakling that can't take their beating, they want to come and pull a pistol on you. And you still didn't go, what is going on? Really? This what y'all standing for in this new generation? You are not built tough. That's weak. Man, you go kill people when your grandma then got raped, murdered, killed. You go and kill people when your cousins, aunts, uncles, kids, things like that happen. Your friends, somebody broke into your house, somebody that molested your wife. You go to war over major things like that. You don't go to war over little man. You. Y'all fighting over the backpacks. Who holding more of the Zaza? Who holding more in the backpacks? Y'all fighting over these girls? Oh, baby, honey. They couldn't even move a package from here to goddamn Glenmore. Let's just take it from here to Woodworth. They couldn't, baby, honey, sit down, honey. You ain't fighting over nothing. She couldn't even take it to the next level. He couldn't even take it to the next level. Because I'm not just talking, when I say youngsters, I'm talking about your girls and I'm talking about your boys out there. Because there's been some women that lost their lives over women, fighting women, and there they go. If not, they pull a pistol out on their boyfriends and pull a pistol on you. What? You've left this mother without her child, without her children now. You left this father without his children. You know how many generations is gonna be fatherless and motherless? Y'all not thinking about that. Y'all not thinking about the era of the kids that ain't gonna have no mothers and ain't gonna have no parents. You're not thinking about those generations. Because all of y'all chill wilding. All of y'all chill want to say the biggest saying, the next saying. You want to look the best. You want the... What y'all want ain't crap if it ain't the right thing. What you need to do is jump in your school books. Continue to get your school lessons. Continue to be young entrepreneurs. Use the internet for something healthy to get your money, since you ain't got to go out there no more and get it out the mud. You talking about getting it out the mud. You ain't never got out the mud a day in your life. Girls know it, boy. Sit down, honey. Maybe your parents did. But and maybe they didn't. That's why you don't know how to. Whichever way it go, sit down. Learn something in life. Do something in life. And I'm going to go to my next one. All I can say is Alexandria is too small to have a shortage of no parents around for the next generation of kids. Who's going to be raising your kids? They don't have... I can't say that. Rarely now you see grandmas and aunts that are still around helping, because some of the grandmas now was made grandmas so early until they feel like they ain't no grandma. They don't even have grandmas names no more. They just admit, what the heck? Y'all, you gotta get it together, honeys. Y'all gotta get it together, and y'all gotta get it together right. The next one I'm gonna go to is trafficking. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. That's girls and boys. I'm going to the kidnaps. I'm going to the rapes. That's all going into this one track, the king. Because if they trafficking, and that's another thing I don't understand. How long it take for you to set up a trafficking sting and sting them? How long it take you to save these kids? It's right here. What are you doing? You broadcast you. What's going on, honeys? It's just it's too much and not enough that's being understood. Everybody just living out here. You better be living and aware out here. You got, because let me tell you, this trafficking stuff that we've been hearing for a couple years now too is because some of these parents have got on this dope, and instead of working, they done prostituted their kids out. That happens in big cities. You don't think it'll happen inside your own city gates? Wake up. Y'all so simple down here. Alexandria need to quit being so simple-minded and get outside that box and think. And I'm not talking about the whole A-town, because you got some brilliant people down here. You got some sweet loving people down here. You got people that's really living and doing them. And they just like me. They looking at this. They're not inside that box. They're looking outside the box. A whole lot now. People are violent, corrupt, and secretive. We call them snakes. And you also have cities like that too. Your towns. So my question again is, why was all of this dope put in this city for these kids to have a shake of their goddamn lives, and nobody is making programs or escape ways or anything to help these kids? The snooty social workers down here, they want to go into homes that the kids really don't even need being taken out of, but because they got some agendas too. Some of these jobs, they think just because they got a state job, they are on top, honey, and they do some of the most dirtiest things. Blacks and whites, yes, you do. right here inside the city gates. They go inside them homes and take them kids from kids that don't need to be outside their homes, but they won't go up inside a goddamn hotel and snatch those kids. They won't go inside those homes that they know. Man, come on. So therefore, you got kids being trafficked from Pineville and Alexandria, just the boys and girls, and with that comes kidnapping. Because, come on, who did know about the trafficking? Who did know about the trafficking? They perverted mind went to something else. Well, if they got trafficking, let's get the. Don't forget the rapes that go on between boys and girls. Why isn't any of this being reported? Why do you have to catch Facebook for the newest news? Why is Facebook a news channel? And it's a legit news channel at that. Why don't you hear some of these top stories on Channel 5? Why aren't some of these stories being revealed, but every time we look around, we see the next black person that got killed? Okay. Get your reports and some things in line. It got some things people need to know out there, and they need to know it when you know it. It's too much hush hush and secretive stuff inside of a city that residents and people need to know how to prepare and protect themselves. But you got some that's going to do that regardless, because they already know the type of surroundings they in. You have so many girls that have got murdered, killed over this trafficking. So many kids that have got killed over these kidnaps, the rapes. And they just sweep it under the rug and hush it.